Lonely Wolfer, Sabaku no Yamcha. Oh, hey there. I was just singing the theme song from the massively popular Dragon Ball character Yamcha. And would you look at that? This video is also about Yamcha. What an amazing and totally not scripted turn of events. Like, am I right, boys? So, a couple of weeks ago, I posted a video about Raditz landing in random anime verses, and that video did really well. We nearly got 10,000 views on that video for some reason, so like, seriously guys, like, good fucking job on that video. I'm amazed it actually did that well, because usually my videos that are not like power scaling or like not directly like, oh, anime character versus Dragon Ball don't do very well. I just upload them because I feel like making them. But multiple people also showed interest in a similar video about Yamcha trying to find love in other anime series if he was just teleported there randomly. This video idea was so weird and silly that I just had to try and make a script for it. And since you are currently watching this video, it's safe to say that I managed to do it. Yamcha is one of my favorite characters from Dragon Ball, so I was pretty excited to give my man the spotlight for once. He usually gets so much undeserved shit that it's time to rectify that at least one small time. During this video, no comments trashing my man Yamcha will be tolerated. This is a safe space for Yamcha. Anybody caught trashing Yamcha in the comments will be faced with severe penalties concocted by yours truly. Some of these penalties might include me finding out where you live and applying for jobs at every local fast food chain using your personal information, or me creating a Grindr profile with your information inviting random men to show up at your front door wearing a fursuit. You have been warned. So let's talk about Yamcha not getting any bitches. According to the actual lore, Yamcha actually does get bitches. He just tends to be a little loose regarding the whole aspect of monogamy. In layman's terms, he's a cheater. But he also has a few other things that don't exactly help him when trying to get girls to like him. The real biggest wall he has to overcome is his abysmally low confidence in his own abilities. The other wall he has to really overcome is that he is extremely awkward with girls he does not personally know. But is it really that strange for Yamcha to not have a lot of confidence in himself? It's really not if you ask me. You have to remember that aside from Yajirobe, Hercule and maybe Chaozu, every single other fighter around him is literally stronger than him. Even Roshi is arguably a better and or stronger fighter than Yamcha himself. Being the essentially weakest guy in the group is not exactly a situation which imbues a person with a lot of confidence. Like, pretty obvious statement there, like I don't think a lot of people would disagree with me. Then there is the fact that Yamcha tends to get very unlucky in the fights he ends up in. Like, it's not always his fault that he loses. The two biggest examples of this being a thing that just happens to Yamcha would probably be his fight against the Cybermen and his fight against Android 20 and Android 19. Yamcha literally dominated the shit out of the Cybermen. Like, anybody who does not understand this just has not watched Dragon Ball. The only reason he lost that fight was due to him being caught off guard in a kamikaze attack. Even Piccolo stated that there was no way to defend against that one. And if you were to ask me in my super like uber professional opinion, the only guy that could have potentially survived it was Piccolo himself. Krillin, Tien, Gohan, Chaozu, all of them would have been killed if they were hit with this kamikaze attack. People absolutely love to clown on Yamcha for losing this fight, but you have to realize that he basically beat the ever-living shit out of Raditz there. The same guy who kicked Goku and Piccolo's asses just 1 year prior. And him being the one to encounter the androids first was just abysmal luck. Literally anyone other than him would have likely ended up in a similar situation, with the exception maybe being Goku. But Yamcha was just the unlucky guy who encountered them first. Like, it's really just bad luck that he fought Android 20 first, because that he stood no chance. Like, it's not fair to judge Yamcha for losing as Android 20 when he just literally did not stand a chance to begin with. Like, it's just trashing on the guy for no reason, if you ask me. So he might be one of the weakest guys in the world of Dragon Ball, which just crushes his confidence. But what if he were to just get transported into another world where he does have the opportunity to build up his confidence? For this video, I've once again selected a handful of anime where I think Yamcha would absolutely thrive. Do note that these are by no means the only anime series in which Yamcha would be a total Giga Chad. Like, these are just my random picks. Just insert your own picks in the comments and you can just create the scenarios yourself. So I have a total of 6 entries this time around. Well, kinda. From left to right, they are Highschool DxD, Data Life, To Love-Ru, The Familiar of Zero, Heaven's Lost Property, and literally every single other isekai anime that exists. So we previously touched upon the fact that Yamcha's lack of confidence is basically his biggest weakness when it comes to creating his own fanbase of fangirls. Well, that problem is very easily solved by just removing him from the Dragon Ball universe. Even though he is basically the weakest Z fighter in the entire group, he can still beat the ever-living shit out of any B-tier anime out there. Like, let's be realistic here, he still just completely crushes pretty much everyone. So let's start with Highschool DxD. For these examples, Yamcha will basically replace the original main character, so Yamcha swaps places with Issei and becomes a pawn of Ria's Gramarye. He won't have the sacred gear, but damn, would it only take him like, I don't know, a day to wipe the fallen angels from existence? Yamcha would have such an incredibly easy time to show his good side to these ladies. Like, he is such a strong fighter that he would carry the entire cast of sexy demon skanks on his shoulders. Even if you take into consideration his more promiscuous personality, it would not matter in the slightest in this scenario. Issei himself is pretty promiscuous and pretty much a pervert with zero shame. Like, Yamcha would basically be a cooler, more toned down and more stoic version of Issei. But what if we were to move on to Data Life? Yamcha would completely shit on every single atom in that universe. Like, I don't think there's much discussion to be had there. Also, before I forget to mention this, for the sake of this video, let's just age up all of the characters in every single anime to be adults. I don't want Yamcha catching a case, considering his voice actor already just completely ruined his reputation by being a total scumbag. So yeah, let's keep it PG clean. But I do believe that Yamcha would have a bit of a tougher time with actually getting a romantic scenario going whilst in this scenario. He would actually have to actively flirt with these girls, which is far from his speciality. Like, let's be honest there, he's not really a good initiator of contact. But the good part is that if they were to attack him, he can literally just bitch slap them around into at least being open to talking with him. Honestly, the more I think about it, seeing Yamcha trying to date these spirits is the funniest shit ever. Like, I kind of need somebody to create a fan manga about this, or something similar at least, of Yamcha just trying his best to date these random anime girls, because I think it would be a pretty funny story. This next entry though is one I actually fully 100% believe that Yamcha will get his alien waifu. So imagine this. Yamcha wakes up in the random streets of this other world, and out of nowhere this alien girl just spawns in front of him and wants to marry him. There is not another anime out there that would give Yamcha as big of an obvious chance at success than To Love-Ru. Yamcha has the perfect fit to find his waifu there. Him in To Love-Ru would basically be the plot of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes arc, where he gets the glass girl Vidro to actually like him. The next entry is not really a serious one, but more so a funny one. Yamcha in the Familiar of Zero would just be him getting repeatedly confused beyond belief. Just imagine this, like, he would arrive in a world where he can't understand anyone, and this little prick with pink hair would just start randomly abusing him and treating him like a dog. Yamcha, being the kind of guy that doesn't like hitting random women, would probably have no choice other than to just sit there and take it whilst being in a state of utter confusion. Once the bad guys arrive, he would just easily one-shot them with the tip of his schlong. Like, power level wise, Yamcha would just completely obliterate everything in that entire universe. So Yamcha would basically become the most well-known strongest mage in that world by shooting destruction lasers from his hands. If they were to see a Kamehameha shot by Yamcha, literally every noble lady in this show would want to have his DNA for their ass. Like, he would literally have to dodge these women as if they were mosquitoes. In Yamcha's case, it's an absolute tragedy he was not transported into this world, because damn, he would actually thrive so hard. The next entry is kind of similar to Highschool DxD, but not exactly the same. Heaven's Lost Property is also an anime where the lead is a little pervert who just gets all of these waifus to call his own. Yamcha is basically a less perverted version of Tomoki. I think that he would be a pretty good fit personality-wise in being willing to try and save the angeloids from their oppressive creators in the other world. Power-wise, I also think that he has a pretty decent chance to actually be able to survive this entire scenario. It's a bit late to say this, but I am just using the latest version of Yamcha we see in the manga, like post-superhero. I just think that Yamcha Yamcha would be able to get a lot of the angeloids to like him due to him usually being quite chivalrous towards women. He does have the tendency to want to protect and save them even though he is pretty awkward around them. Him seeing these girls be oppressed and basically treated like slaves is sure to upset him, at least I think it would. And with him realizing that he would stand a pretty decent fighting chance, his confidence will also rise to match his desires to protect these girls. I really do think that he would fare well in this anime verse. And for our last entry, we basically have every single isekai anime ever. If Yamcha was to get transported to any shitty isekai universe, it doesn't really matter which one, he would become the literal god king of that world. And as we know from isekai logic, girls there just fall madly in love with the most random guys for no goddamn reason. Like, Yamcha would have a very easy time beating everyone in those isekai worlds and just getting pretty much every waifu he wants. Guess isekai trash is still useful from time to time. Like, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but thank God for isekai, huh, Yamcha? Like, damn. But this basically brings us to our conclusion, or, well, I really should say my conclusion. I vehemently believe that Yamcha would be able to thrive so hard in basically every single other anime than Dragon Ball. It is actually criminal how much crap Yamcha has to deal with in his own universe. Yamcha would literally go from the Virgin Z fighter to the Chat God King in every single anime verse I mentioned today. Yamcha being in Dragon Ball just completely cocks him because you can't exactly build up confidence if over half of your friend group consists of galaxy destroying gods. Like, can you? Like, I don't think it's fair to assume that he could just be like, oh, you know, I've got a baseball career, I can do everything. Like, no, like, Goku bench presses planets. How are you supposed to compete with that? Come on now. But that is just the way I tend to think about things like this. But you know, what did you guys think? Do you believe that my man Yamcha would be able to get the girl in these other anime shows? Like, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And with that being said, thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my videos. If you liked today's video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and leave a comment with your thoughts to help promote the channel. Work hard, study well and eat and sleep plenty, and I will see you all again in the next video. Peace out.